Hi, this is Teaching for Women. Our Messiah gave us commandments. Yeshua in Matthew 22:37 through 40. Yeshua said unto him, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and all the prophets. Why did he say that? Because he was quoting what his father taught at Horeb. Deuteronomy 18:15 through 18 tells you, Moses told you, God was going to raise up a prophet, with a capital P prophet. He was going to put his words in his mouth, and he was going to teach what was desired at Horeb, the life-giving water. Exodus 17, Deuteronomy 4, 5, and 6 chapters. Deuteronomy 5, verse 2, the Lord our God made a covenant with us in Horeb. The Lord made this covenant with us, with our fathers. The Lord made not this covenant with our fathers, but with us, even us who are all of us here alive this day. The Lord talked with you face to face in the mount of the midst of the fire. He talked to them with his voice, so that the Israelites would fear him and keep his commandments always, and they agreed to it. Moses is saying this. I stood between the Lord and you at that time, and show you the word of the Lord. For ye were afraid by reason of the fire, and went not up into the mount, the Lord saying, I am the Lord thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage. Thou shalt not have other gods before me. Thou shalt not make any graven image. And then he lists the 10 commandments. Verse 22. These words the Lord spoke unto all your assembly in the mount out of the midst of the fire, of the cloud, and of the thick darkness, with a great voice, and added no more. He just gave the 10. And he wrote them on 2 tablets of stone, and delivered them unto me. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 5. And thou shalt love thy God with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thy heart, and you shall teach them diligently unto your children. Skipping down to verse 25 of chapter 6. And it shall be our righteousness, if we observe to do all these commandments before the Lord our God, as he has commanded us. It's going to be, the 10 commandments is our righteousness. Our righteousness and faith. Deuteronomy 10. Verse 'Okay, so our Messiah also told us that we needed to circumcise our hearts and not our flesh, right? Because we're not under the sacrificial law, the law written by Moses, because of transgression. Chapter 10, verse 16. Circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart, and be no more stiff-necked. Verse 19 of chapter 10, love ye therefore the stranger, for ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. Love your neighbor. Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 12. And now, Israel, what doth the Lord thy God require of thee, but to fear the Lord thy God, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, and to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, to keep the commandments of the Lord, and his statutes which I commanded thee this day, for thy good, or for thy good, for your good. That's basically what he's saying. Leviticus 19, 15 through 18. Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment. Thou shalt not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty. But in righteousness shalt thou judge thy neighbor. His righteousness, the 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not go up and down and be a talebearer among thy people, neither shalt thou stand against the blood of thy neighbor. I am the Lord. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor, and not suffer sin upon him. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord. When Yeshua gave us those 2 commandments, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment, and the second is like unto the first. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself, judging them righteously, which is judging them by the 10 Commandments. If they disobey the 10 Commandments, they're sinning. It's like unto the first, because you have to be in covenant and following his commandments, like Matthew 7 tells you, taking the log out of your own eye before you can rebuke your neighbor. When they're sinning, you're seeing them sin. And when you rebuke them, they can repent and come back into covenant with God. It's like unto the first. And on these 2 commandments hang all the law and the prophets. 2 John verse 5. And now I beseech thee, lady, not as though I wrote a new commandment unto you, but that which we have had from the beginning, that we love one another. And this is love, that we walk after his commandments. This is the commandment, that as ye have heard from the beginning, ye shall walk in it. Whosoever transgresseth and abideth not in the doctrine of Christ has not God. He that abideth in the doctrine of Christ, he has both the Father and the Son. If there come any unto you, and bring not this doctrine, receive him not into your house, neither bid him Godspeed. John 14:15. If ye love me, keep my commandments, and I will pray to the Father, and he shall give you another comforter, that he may abide with you forever, even the Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive, because it seeth him not, neither knoweth him. But ye know him, for he dwelleth with you, and shall be in you. Chapter 15, verse 9. As the Father has loved me, so I have loved you. Continue in my love. If ye keep my commandments, ye shall abide in my love, even as I kept my Father's commandments, and abide in his love. These things have I spoken unto you, that my joy might remain in you, and that your joy might be full. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. Greater love hath no man than this, than a man lay down his life for his friend. Ye are my friends, and if ye do whatsoever I command you. Keep his commandments, eat clean, and you'll be his peculiar people.